You find your way to a tavern in the very southern tip of the North Ward. I'm kind of zooming in on it on my own camera. At this intersection here between the street that cuts south and this sort of offshoot here. And it's a nondescript inn. It's called the Broken Barb, and what you see is like you walk in and the innkeeper recognizes you, but not paying attention to any one of you, but says, "Ah, yes, you must be here for Marlon, yes?"
Yes.
He should be expecting us.
Yes, he is. He should be in his suite. It's the third door on the left up those stairs.
I don't know if this is the place to do it, but insight check on this dude?
Absolutely. It is always the time and always the place for an insight check. What do you got for me?
Well, this is with my next roll. This is with a +1.
Yes. You also have advantage if you want to take it. Wow.
Yeah, I'll just have yeah.
Wow on both of your parts.
Yeah, we're both skeptical enough of human nature to go, yeah, this is sketch.
This guy really wants a nice tip, but other than that, he's on the level. He's definitely trying to speak in a way that makes it more likely that you'll tip him, but other than that, he's on the level.
All right. Well, then I'll as we are heading up where he directs, be like, can you bring up drinks in a bit, like tea or something? You do a tea service or something here?
Oh yes, of course, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Like as Echo's walking up, like little biscuits and stuff too, and continues up.
Excellent.
It's going to grow so fat, just like Stinky.
Like it's a bad
Good. I've spent enough of my life not having enough to eat.
How does Calder respond?
Calder is like, when he is satisfied the guys on the level, he's mostly staying quiet. When they start talking about the eating a case and like, Calder will just go, magic use is very high in calories. So magic use is very good at burning calories, so I feel no problem with indulging.
When you eventually make your way into the room, it's a suite, and in one of the chairs in the suite is a gnome, and that gnome is wearing a conical red cap and sports. He's kind of rotund and sports a bit of a white beard, and he looks at you and says, "Ah, yes. Are you my 4 o'clock? Please tell me it's 4 o'clock and this thing hasn't stopped on me again."
He's wearing a conical red cap, you say?
I did say that, yes.
Calder will say something to him in a language that will say something to him in Faerun, which is his native tongue.
Okay.
Does he respond at all?
He does not. Go ahead and give me an insight check to make sure that he doesn't.
Good. I don't. So very well.
No. Do the insight check, because I'm worried you might actually think.
I'm gonna spend a spell point on that before I invoke my insight.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I think it's more a joke that he looks like a garden gnome.
I know, that's the joke. But red caps in Faerun means Thay. Thay is bad.
But red caps look like mushroom red caps.
Yes, so with a 20, you're reasonably certain that no, he is just literally made to look like David the Gnome.
Cool. I'm cool. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that might be racist against gnomes, but
there is nothing wrong with conical caps, and David the Gnome is fucking awesome. So I am paying homage, my friend.
Fair enough. Calder will be satisfied that this guy has no fucking clue what he just said, and I don't need to cause a ruckus. So
I think we're the right 4 o'clock. Are you? What is it, Marlon
the Magnificent, purveyor of magical accoutrement, if you will. Now,
what is accoutrement?
Things.
Extra shit.
Yes, it's a fancy word. that we use when we want to sell lots of things.
Well, these are your two customers, and Echo's gonna step aside and let the people who are actually looking for shit talk.
He sets down a carpet bag and says, "Well, before I begin and show you my wares, because I do have some leads on the things that you asked for, but also I have some of my own wares, and other collectors, when they hear that a rather reputable band of adventurers is in town, want to perhaps find a place, a new home for their old magical items. And before we begin, you are, pardon me, adventurers, yes?"
That is my profession, yes.
She kind of looks back at them and
Does the Steven Universe of goes to say no, then nods more emphatically, like, yeah, wait, no, I am, yeah.
And then looks specifically at Calder and Echo and says, "And again, I hope I don't pry, but are you the ones who delved the Sunless Citadel?"
Echo's gonna look over to Calder, like, does he give a go ahead and tell him, or like a don't?
Calder will just he's a little surprised to hear it mentioned, but he'll nod at Echo.
Echo will lean forward and be, buddy, you're talking to the last war chief of the Sunless Citadel.
Oh, okay. Before we finish this transaction,
she kind of goes,
Can I get your autographs at some point? Just not part of this transaction, but maybe when we're done, maybe you could sign something of my. Anyway, adventurers are always in need. Yes, adventurers are in need of magical treasures that will aid them in their way. Oh, I can't believe I'm actually talking to them. So, I would like to offer you first, the one thing that all adventurers need. And instead of going into the bag in front of him, he will reach behind him and pull out a sack. And the sack has a couple of backpack straps on it. And he says, "This is something that all adventurers need. All adventurers need a bag that is capable of holding more than they would be able to hold on their own. This is a bag of holding. Yes, of holding."
This is a bag of holding. Calder's very happy to hear that.
He will set it. He will set it down.
how can it carry more than it
Magic,
Yes.
don't.
carry?
I am
Magic.
so glad that you asked. Would you please approach? And he will sort of step around the bag, and he will open it up, and he will say, "Would you be so kind? And I promise, just watch this. Take a look inside."
It is.
So you look in. It's deeper than it looks, and you reach down, you try to find the bottom of it. And I'm going to say that as you're reaching down trying to find
With
the bottom
my
of it,
little arm.
you fall bodily into the bag.
Yeah, I could see Creetha falling into the bag with just her feet sticking out.
How tall is Creetha?
3 feet?
Yes. So the inside of the bag is 4 feet from the floor of the bag to the upper outside, which you can still see. You are now inside a strangely comfortable leather bag looking up at the flap that is currently open. It's not high up. It's only about a foot above your head, right? You can easily reach up, pull yourself back out.
I kind of pull up, and as I do so, my Durgaden crossbow goes, I am not to be captured in a bag.
He'll help you out. He'll offer you a hand to help you out.
I'm still holding the crossbow.
When that happens, while Creetha is out of earshot inside the bag, Calder will lean over to Echo and go, "This is why I keep her around. I find her just precious."
As he's leaning down to say that, Echo has moved forward and is half cocking a fist behind the gnome in case he's doing
what
something
does the
weird.
gnome think about suddenly having a crossbow in his face?
His demeanor never changes. He is totally at his ease as he attempts to help you out of the bag. Oh, I do
Okay,
apologize.
So big bag. I get big bag, but I don't big bag. Okay.
Kretha, look at the outside size of the bag.
Now, Kretha, it is. You saw nothing other than yourself inside that bag, yes?
Yes.
Pick up the bag. How heavy does it feel?
She picks it up. How heavy does it feel?
It's definitely heavier than it should be, being empty. You would guess it weighs between 12 and 20 pounds.
Which is actually pretty fucking heavy for a 3-foot.
Well,
Yeah.
the bag doesn't extend 4 feet. The bag is small.
Yeah.
You definitely, like, there are TARDIS references in the chat.
Oh yeah, no,
it's
I
definitely bigger
understand
on the
this bag
inside.
Holding entirely. Kretha doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I have definitely done many things with bags of holding.
It's a D&D classic for a reason.
I've definitely turned several things in some of my werewolf and vampire games where I played a ratkin into a bag of holding by casting that one spell that adds you space in a bag over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until you didn't know what was in the bag anymore.
I am now, my clients always prefer barter magic item for magic item, but
Very heavy.
I am willing to offer you this piece for a very low 300 gold pieces.
She takes her hands off it and steps back.
May I ask the reason for such a generous discount?
Generous discount.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
what's wrong with it?
He lifts it up, and on the bottom there's a big patch. And he says, "This is held up so far."
But
It's held up so far.
aha.
So no guarantee on how long it'll continue to hold up.
Speaking of which, and he pulls out a small piece of parchment, and he sort of hands it over to you. And it said, he says, if you choose to take this item, I'm going to need you to sign that. And it says,
It's like a waiver of liability.
This waiver, yes, removes from the merchant any liability should the client place an extra dimensional space inside an extra dimensional space and releases the merchant from any damages thereof.
Yeah, this is kind of like the waiver we have people volunteers at the circus sign before we let them into the ring.
Don't put a bag of holding inside a bag of holding.
Very standard.
What about
rule.
a bag of carrying?
Also no.
All right.
If it's bigger on the inside, don't put it in a place that's bigger on the inside.
Gotcha.
Tends to go badly.
Is this an item that you are interested in? And as always, barter is very much preferred to simple gold.
Calder will nod. It is a fair price for a decent piece of equipment.
But before we use, what we have on hand to barter for this, how about we barter for the things that they actually asked for?
Ah, yes. Well, I have several items to show you, but since you mention, he will wait. Before I bring out the next item, you are the ones who delved the Sunless Citadel. I think this might be interesting to you. He pulls out a large padlock, and he says, "This lock was taken from a door in the Sunless Citadel by the kobolds who live there. They sold it to me, and they say that it can defeat lockpicks automatically. It can change its internal construction as someone is attacking it. You are adventurers. You come into contact with great deals of treasure, I'm sure. that being able to thwart someone attempting to steal your treasures would be something
they-
very valuable for you.
Did they sell you the key?
Yes.
I was gonna ask, how did you get it off the door?
Do you actually pull out the key to the lock? Like, one of you has it, right?
I believe we do. I think it was Hyacinth that kept it.
Fair enough. So no, he does have a copy of the key, but none of you actually have it at the moment.
May I see the key?
He'll say, well, yes, of course. He'll reach down into his own carpet bag, and again, kind of Mary Poppins-esque, he also reaches deeper into his bag than is actually possible, and he'll pull out a key, and damned if it isn't just the spitting image of the dragon key from from the very first module.
Calder will examine it, hand him back the key graciously. I have no interest in purchasing that key, but I will tell you an interesting piece of information that you might want to sell to anyone who comes looking for the room that does buy it.
Oh, what's that?
Would that be worth? I will proceed to say that there is another key.
Oh.
And I'll let you know who has it in exchange for an appropriate discount.
Oh, that sounds very much like a persuasion check to me. You have a floating advantage if you want to use it.
I'll take that. I'll take that one for here. That seems appropriate.
Awesome.
You have had 2 dinners. Shut up.
Wow.
Oh, come on. I'm going to spend my spell point to reroll that.
Do it.
Because I can. Because sorcerers are bullshit.
You still have advantage.
Yep.
Oh, and you're stinky.
I'll take the 14.
Wow. That was like a whole lot
Underwhelming.
of very difficult.
It's not a practice skill for me. So.
Totally, that makes sense. So yeah, a 14. That'll be enough. Let's say actually, I'm going to let you tell me. 14 is a middling success. What do you think? He started at 300. What do you think is fair?
I think he'll knock it down to 250.
I think 250 is absolutely fair as well. Yes. I am going to say,
and just so sell the lock, sell the key, sell them to the same person, and the next person who comes around looking for a way past a certain unbreakable lock, you'll know exactly who they can call.
Hold on, guys. I know this is completely off topic, but my cat, the one who wouldn't use it, is actually drinking out of his new fountain.
Nice.
Yay! I've never seen him do it.
Calder will write the name on a piece of paper, show it to Echo. It says Hyacinth on it.
So, like the full name and titles, or
it is the full name. No titles or anything like that. They get to figure that out.
okay.
And it's like, this is the name of the person in question. I'll place it on the table. You understand, it has value only so long as as it is in my possession.
As you're talking, Marlon is reaching back into the bag. He says, now, if I recall properly, you requested specifically, and he pulls out a light crossbow.
Oh, yes.
No.
Oh, gosh. About that. I kind of happened into a magical crossbow without needing to buy one. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry.
The seller will be disappointed, but that's okay. He tosses it behind him.
Oh, gosh.
I was gonna say you might want to check your sources on that because she uses a hand crossbow, not a light crossbow. So maybe it's a good thing she doesn't want it anymore.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm glad that piece of garbage isn't what you're going to walk out of here with. Absolutely awful.
Please don't hurt the poor thing.
Oh no, magical items are extraordinarily durable. Trust me, I make my trade in them.
Sound of the crossbow bolt, like the string twanging as it breaks.
Oh,
Well, not the strings. Anyway.
I don't know. I have to say, if you treat all your magical items the way you treat that crossbow, I find myself less inclined to wish to buy from you.
The next thing that he brings out, he said he kind of flushes a little bit and he digs around and he pulls out a small red, like almost Santa-esque cap.
Like Fluffy with the
with a little fluffy bit at the end. Yeah, the little bauble. Yeah. And he says,
Sure.
"This is a nightcap. It gives you pleasant dreams. It's very, very inexpensive, and given the trauma that you must live every day of your adventuring lives, perhaps something that is guaranteed to give you sweet dreams could be very useful to a group of adventurers such as yourselves."
how much?
It's a minor one. Let's say actually, I want one person to give me a persuasion roll. I want one person, I don't care who, but the person that says how much.
I do have persuasion, but I don't have a very high thing, so.
Nat 20.
Absolutely
Calder,
fantastic.
Well done.
Unfortunately, I didn't switch to the board fast enough for them to see that, but yes, Calder got a natural 20, which leads to a 23. He will say, "Oh, well, because I seem to have offended you, please take it with my compliments."
Hands it over to Kretha.
And he hands it over to Kretha. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. It is very fuzzy.
You
He
like
reaches
fuzzy
into the bag again, and he pulls out again longer than the bag actually is. He pulls out a sheathed rapier, and he looks to Calder and says, "This, I believe, you wanted in exchange for your own warning weapon, yes?"
It is a weapon of warning.
"Yes." And
Tolerable. May I?
yes, but, well, yes. And he hands it to you.
I'll take it. Examine it.
In your head it goes, "Danger! Stranger is touching me, danger!"
Yeah, that sounds like one. I will reach into behind me and pull out the sickle, and we'll embed it into the table.
So the sickle has always communicated with you non-verbally, right? It just made a screeching sound.
It made a it made a sound identical to that of the
Twig blights. Yes.
Yeah.
He says,
This was the sickle of the weapon of the druid that was the cause of the troubles in the Sun of the Citadel.
and the Emerald Enclave is very, very interested in reclaiming it.
I believe they would be very, very generous. I believe they would be very generous at this, especially when they learned that it accompanied a certain group of adventurers to other adventures, such as how secret is the adventure? To the Forge of Fury, I don't think it was very secret at all.
No, and it's fairly recent, so news is still spreading, but it's not like
this weapon accompanied the group of adventurers who traversed to locate the Forge of Fury at the Stone too.
It will very much please the one I am doing this trade on behalf of. Thank you so much. An artifact from 2 of the 5 greatest adventures in the last decade. Oh, I appreciate this so much. And he puts it, he wraps it in leather and puts it down into the bag. Is a straight across trade to your liking?
It will take some time. It will take time for me to attune to this one, but I think it should be fine.
Don't worry about me. The Emerald Enclave are willing to pay a very, very pretty sum for this particular piece.
Who is the Emerald Enclave, and what do you mean get it back?
They are a circle of primarily druids. They keep the balance.
They were the ones that
Belak,
our good friend that
disrupted the balance. And this Belak disrupted the balance using a sickle that originally belonged to one of their own. I can't divulge more than that, but it's absolutely delicious gossip.
If I were to want to go talk to someone from the Emerald Enclave about Belak. How would I find them?
Oh, I wouldn't possibly know.
Not for free, at any rate.
And Echo's just gonna
I'm
stare.
a city gnome. I don't deal with the forests and the hills and all that open space.
But you sell magic weapons to them.
Well, I sell magic weapons to many people.
Mm-hmm.
Would you perhaps be willing to carry a message to the Emerald Enclave if they happen to repurchase this item?
Well, I suppose if it's so long as it's nothing that could harm my reputation among them.
I'll write something out. Echo starts just furiously scribbling.
But no, that was.
Now
that is this. But I believe I am satisfied with this trade.
This next item is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites. He pulls out a small gray pouch. He says he looks around. He shows it to everybody. He says, "I would like someone to reach into this pouch and take what's inside."
Somebody else can do so. I am not into reaching into any more pouches today.
That is fair. I will do so.
So you reach into the pouch, and you feel a small, roundish, fuzzy object.
Okay. I will withdraw said round fuzzy object.
Let's find out what comes out.
No.
Oh my god, he's rolling.
Hold on.
That's always fun.
What comes out is
It's a bag of tricks.
so you pull it out, and an honest to God panther springs out of the bag, out of the pouch,
Preetha's back with the crossbow.
and is suddenly in the room with you.
That
Calder
is
is-
a good thing. That is a bad thing.
It turns around a couple of times and kind of curls up.
It's a
It
bag of
purrs
cat.
really loud.
And what, pray tell, does this magnificent beast come from?
Did you just let the cat out of the bag?
If it is a creature, the cat will growl at Echo for that pun, responding to my emotional desire.
Oh, amazing. All right, I'm going to look it up one sec.
That said, this is one of my very favorite magical items in all of D&D, so...
Is this a bag of tricks?
Yes, it is. I am putting it in the chat so you can take a look. The cost currently on it is 301 gold pieces. That can be altered with diplomacy / intimidation / whatever. And yes, it summons an animal to your side. Hold on one second. I just want to make sure I know how long it can. 3 times until the next dawn. You have brought 1 into the world. There are 2 more uses of this until the sun rises next. Wherever you are and wherever the sun is, planar travel can make this complicated. There are several animals that can come out, this, of course, being one of the fiercest. He looks very pleased at the result of you pulling out this particular animal.
I'm a big fan of this thing because this is one of the best utility creature items in the game, and it doesn't require attunement.
Is that a real cat or is that a magic cat?
Magic cat.
Does it do stuff for you then?
It will fight on our behalf.
Calder,
Really?
you find that you have mental control over this creature.
Mhm.
What do you do with that ability to command? It's currently curled up and purring at a ridiculous volume.
Calder will live the dream and have it cuddle and have it run nuzzle up against him, and he'll pet it and cuddle it.
It walks up to you and curls up in front of you and lays its ridiculously large head on your lap.
Calder will gently kneel before it and start just scratching it and rubbing it behind its face and ears and just
Preetha
being
kinda reaches and-
being uncharacteristically super sweet.
The purring doubles in volume, and at this time, if you try to bargain down, I'm going to give you disadvantage.
Is this the item you asked for, Calder?
Nope.
A bag of cats?
Nope. But it's one I want.
Wow.
Were you able? And Echo's gonna like see that Calder's a little busy. Turn to Marlon and be like, "Were you able to locate the actual requested items?"
Well, there was the
Beyond-
rapier, yes.
Yes.
These
was one more.
vials, though, I have been looking all over. I have found several vials, but all of them seem to be of the same quality as the one already possessed. I am still looking, but it is a very difficult and arduous task that has been set before me. But I will find one for you. I just have not found a source just yet.
Well, if this is, everything you've shown us, everything you've brought here today, seems like we're in want of the 2 bags, correct? Like we want the bag of holding and we want the bag of cats tricks.
Those are the ones left.
And currently the price for them sits at $250 for the bag of holding and $301 for the bag of tricks.
Yes, for a total of 501 gold.
Echo's gonna pull
500
out.
501 is fair.
Well, Echo's gonna pull out from his bags a scroll
Mm-hmm.
and say, "This is a pretty low-level scroll, but it's not one I particularly need. Would this help?"
He pulls out
Discount?
one of those like jewel monocle type apparati and picks up the scroll and looks at it, and he
Say
begins
scroll.
to sort of mutter to himself about various students of various like magical well-known wizards. He's like, this must have been created by the apprentice to blah 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 blah, and he says, yes, give me specifically, Echo, give me either an intimidation or a persuasion, depending on how you are going about this. Are you saying, take this or I'm going to kick your ass? Or are you just saying, hey, this is a really, really cool thing?
This is a really, really cool thing. I'm gonna use that advantage.
You
on
got
this
it.
roll for persuasion.
See,
Fuck yeah!
Psychanthrope, the reason how he is not turning a profit here is because my players are rolling very, very well, so he's probably not going to turn much of a profit this time around.
So this is
Unfortunately for him.
But he might turn a profit with the people he does sell to later. with
That's
his
the other
middleman
thing, right?
players.
He's just a middleman, so even if he doesn't
So-
make profit on this side, he'll probably make it on the back end as well.
So for the DM to know, I'm offering the Scroll of Comprehend Language, which is because it's a level 1 spell, it's an uncommon consumable.
I'm going to give you full, so scroll of comprehend languages. I'm going to give you the full value of it, which is 47 gold. I'm going to give you 100% of that based on your roll there. So that'll come off of the 501.
Calder will also produce the needle of the illuminator.
Someone with a calculator.
Yep.
I'm only a
he'll
math
take out
teacher during work hours.
He'll take out the needle of the illuminator's tattoo and place that on the table as well.
Okay,
Or
go
you were
ahead
skipping it.
and also roll a persuasion if you would be so kind.
You say I'm rolling with disadvantage, or was that to talk down the price?
This is just
This
for
is to talk
exchange.
down the price, yeah. So this is a straight roll.
Okay.
To trade in.
I've got a cost range here, and your result will kind of determine where in that range we go.
It rolled, but I'm not seeing it come up on the count.
One more time.
Okay, give me a second.
Unless, of course, it's just, like, stalled for some reason. There we go.
There it goes. Hey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey.
With an 18, I'm going to say that you're going to get 70 gold off for that tattoo. So again, whoever is got a calculator, please
yeah,
do that.
117 is the
Okay.
Yeah,
is
we're-
discount so far.
Yeah, the current total price we'd still have to pay is $384 for both bags.
Mhm.
I don't have that much gold.
Well, critically, you should, because none of us have actually been paid by Barnabas for the job yet.
Well, Echo doesn't have that gold.
Sorry.
Do you
Calder has yet
recall,
to be
Jeff? Do you recall how much he promised for that? Barnabas is
Not
present.
off.
He hasn't said anything yet.
Not offhand. He did promise we would be richly rewarded. I don't recall a specific number.
We will say that he will go ahead and cover the difference here. And he will go ahead and mention, by the way, I know I haven't paid you for your time yet. This isn't
Well,
all.
that's it.
This is not by any means all I owe you, but
Well, but that said, like Calder is more than happy to eat that cost. He has enough gold.
fair enough. Barnabas is
Kreetha's
willing to
not
step in.
expecting to get paid because she
No,
was
Kreetha
not,
was not part of the original
wasn't hired.
contract. Yeah.
she was not hired by that person. No.
So gold exchanges
Hired,
hands.
but she's
Barnabas
also
will
not
cover
expecting
what's
paid.
left over. But as you're sort of ready to go, you're kind of turning away with typical merchant's flair for the dramatic. Says there is one more thing that I came into recently, and I don't know if it's something you want or not. I don't know exactly what it does. He reaches into his back pocket and he pulls out a sealed deck of cards.
Oh no!
And he says, I came into this deck and I'm told that it came from a deep, dark tomb, blah, blah, blah. You know the story, yes?
Mm-hmm.
I do not know story, but is that for like playing the cards I see?
No.
Really?
It is definitely magical, but so far, even the best wizards here at Waterdeep have been able to tell without unsealing it that it is magical. We don't know exactly what it does, so I'm willing to give it to you for a measly 50 gold.
If you don't know what it does, how do you know it's not cursed?
No refunds?
I don't need a deck of cards.
Kreetha does want to kind of look at it. She's like,
Please don't unseal it unless you intend to buy it. He'll hand it over. It's like a sort of leather waterproof card pouch.
Yeah.
But there is like a wax seal over the flap so that it would have to be broken in order to get into the deck.
she kind of turns back to Calder. It's like, do you think this might pull out Panther as well?
No, but
What is it? If you
I don't know.
what it is.
it is magic.
Yes, I heard that. I heard that 4 times now.
Nassif, welcome. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for bringing a raid. The party is currently trying to decide whether or not they want to spend 50 gold on a definitely magical, but they don't know exactly what it does, deck of playing cards. If you
Kreetha kind
have
of wants it just because she thinks that the cards might be cool.
if
she does
you
not-
have an opinion on what they should do, put it in the chat.
Echo's 16 wisdom is playing up here, and he's like, nah. No, thank you.
No, Kreetha. Well, I mean, Kreetha has a 16 wisdom too, but she also has been watching all of these really cool things that happen with all of this magic stuff.
I'm gonna say that the merchant, who is very good at what he does, is going to begin to sort of zoom in on Kreetha, because Kreetha is clearly expressing interest,
never spend that much.
saying, "Look, if nothing else, I'm sure the artwork is phenomenal, and they're very magical. You never know; anything might come out. Look at that bag that you just bought. Animals simply spring out of nowhere. This deck could be the key to a wondrous destiny. Or perhaps it's a simple deck of cards that when you shuffle it, it automatically rearranges itself. We don't know. That's why I say no refunds.
I wonder it could be used for cheating. She's kind of looking at it like,
You don't even know if there's cards in there. You haven't opened it, right?
No, this is
No,
definitely...
I have
He
not.
shakes it a little bit, and it makes a kind of sound. He says, but no, we haven't opened this at all.
and she kind of looks really sad. She's like,
We haven't dared.
but that is a lot of money. I don't really.
I
I
guess
never
gonna
spend that much money.
He's
It's
quietly
very
to himself
pretty gifts.
flip a coin to try and get some insight from his goddess. Like, good idea, bad idea.
So I just had an Animaniacs flashback. Jen, for Kreetha,
Yes.
please roll a, let's
Yeah.
go with a persuasion check. And I'm going to give you advantage because you are definitely playing up the, oh, I really want it, but I can't afford it, but I really want it. Throw that with advantage, please.
11. Not very good.
Not amazing, no.
No, not amazing though.
He's going to say, well, you've all been wonderful patrons so far. I could knock off a little bit. This is just burning a hole in my inventory right now. Nobody's going to buy an unknown deck of cards. I could maybe take it down to 20 gold, but that's going to be my final offer.
20. I don't think I've ever spent 20 gold at one place ever. I mean, I've never really had 20 gold to spend in one place, but everybody else has been spending gold, and it's been. I mean. This could be very bad, could be very good. Panther? Explosion. If bad, I could always give it to brother. I will take it. And she pulls out the 20 gold. This is the largest purchase she has ever made.
And he hands over the deck of cards, and the
There's
transaction
no idea
is
what she
concluded.
bought.
There is a 30% chance this goes very, very well, and a 30% chance this goes fantastically badly.
I know.
I mean, it could just be a self-shuffling magic deck. It doesn't necessarily
it
have
could
to be like the deck of many
Oh no,
things
there's
or
like,
deck of
like oh no,
illusions.
there's like absolutely like there's a couple of other like named magical decks that are just fantastically useful.
Kreetha, you have a sealed deck of cards in your hand. What's the first thing you do now that you've got them?
She opens it.
Excellent.
Very excited.
Oh no!
You break the seal on
I
the
break the seal
deck.
because I purchased it.
There
He
is
said,
literally
don't break the
right-
seal unless you
right
purchase
there in the
Marlon's
in the
in
room.
front of you.
it. Right there in
and,
the room. Yep.
Marlon jumps back
Delicious.
and
Oh no.
so but you open the deck. There is definitely a whiff of magic sort of ozone smell in the air, but nothing immediately happens. You see what looks like a somewhat smaller than average deck of cards right in front of you. What do?
I pull them out to look at the pretty art.
Excellent. So the first one that you pull out, let me pull up a table really quick.
Pull it upside down.
I mean, yeah, she would probably pull the
this is
entire
obvi-
deck out.
This
to
is either
spread
going to
out
be
and
one of my
like, pretty
least
art.
favorite or most favorite magical items. So
Go ahead and roll me a d20, Jen, please.
Yes, I do get a +2 on whatever my D20 is.
This is a randomizer, so don't worry about any +2s.
Okay, this is a randomizer. Cool.
Rolling on a table. Ah!
Let's see.
So you pull out the King of Hearts,
Okay.
and as you pull it out, you look at it, and the card dissolves, and before your eyes, a full-on 6-foot knight in plate mail, and his 4 guards appear in the room, standing at the ready.
Oh, this is not Panther, but wow.
You get the immediate idea that you can direct the actions of these knights, of these warriors.
So they're in full armor, so like we can't tell like what kind of humanoid they are or
No,
anything?
they are in full
Just-
plate
just
with
full
helmets
plate.
down.
She goes up and tinks on the armor.
Your hand goes right through it,
Woo.
revealing to everyone in the room who is watching, which is everyone in the room, that this knight is in fact an illusion.
The deck of illusions, yes. The deck of illusions is one of Jeff's very favorite magic items.
But can so
What?
they're
How
And-
does
and-
it go this?
Marlon kind of peeks up from behind his carpet bag and looks and says, "Well, that went well. That went well."
can you command them like Calder was commanding the panther?
I mean, that's what it feels like. I'm not good at that, but yes.
I will- Calder will Calder is
surround
just
Marlon.
examining the illusion and just
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
think
So,
of it.
I'm gonna go ahead
Don't
and
think of it in
read.
exact detail. Just give it an impression and allow your mind to fill in the details. Make them dance. Whatever comes
You
to
just-
mind when you
Oh no,
say
she
the word
just said
dance.
surround Marlon.
Out loud.
Yeah.
So
that's
they
what
will
she
they
did. She
will
doesn't
they will
know.
clonk 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 clonk. You feel the vibrations of their footsteps in your feet.
Damn that.
An illusion of one or more creatures forms over the card and remains until dispelled. Remains until dispelled.
I don't know how to dispel anything.
An illusory creature appears real, of the appropriate size, and behaves as if it were a real creature as presented in the monster manual, except that it can do no harm. While you are within 120 feet of the illusory creature and can see it, you can use an action to move it magically anywhere within 30 feet of its card. Any objects pass through it, someone who uses an action to visually inspect, blah, blah, blah.
Wait, so the card is still here?
You don't have full like telepathic control, but you can give them impressions and they will do a thing. Otherwise, they will act as a knight and guards would. In other words, you now have an illusory protective detail
Wow.
For this card.
for this card.
You cannot. This is not a treasure that we can use and test out because every time you use a card, that card is expended. It cannot be used again.
Yes, and in fact, the card did disintegrate into your hand or in your hand as the illusion came up.
Well, when the illusion goes away, the image on the card disappears.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it was saying it can't move more than 30 feet away from the card.
Yeah. So the idea is you cast the card to the ground and then the illusion appears.
Yes, although in this case, I allowed it to appear while it was in her hand because, drama.
Exactly.
With that, friends,
Pardon.
the one thing, though, is that, and I want to make sure I know this, within 30 feet of you, blah, blah, blah. You can, within 30 feet of its card. So these illusory knights have to be within 30 feet of the card. And if you're done with them, I'm going to say that as the owner of the item, if you tear the card in half, it will dismiss the illusions. I think that's fair.
Do I get the sense of that so that...
Yeah, I think that's fair. If you decide you don't want these armored people like wandering up behind you anymore, you can just tear the card. That will dispel the illusion without having to actually use a dispel magic spell, so that they're not just following you around forever.
Yeah,
Although if we do get a really good one, it might be hilarious just to have it park in a single location forever.
Again,
the only way it would be able to
until
park is if I
dispelled.
left the cards there.
Yeah, the idea because these things have a lot of fun things that I'm not going to read all here, but just like everything from knights to golems to giants are on this list.
Oh wow, this is
So
gonna be...
it's hilarious, it's random, it creates the illusion, and if you're particularly mean or if we're particularly lucky and clever, we can have a lot of fun with it.
And I will say that you have the you have the intuitive idea that there are 33 cards left in the deck.
Yeah.
This was a full deck of illusions, not one that's missing cards.
And the King of Hearts is a useful illusion, but it's one that we can live without.
Yeah. So, as Kritha's having fun making the knights move and dance, Echo's gonna give the scribbled note to Marlon of, if you could go ahead and read it, but if you could pass this along to the Emerald Enclave people you're going to meet. They probably want to meet me and talk to me as well.
Yes, I will.
Pass the note of Hyacinth's name over to the guy.
Mm-hmm. He trades in information just as much as he trades in magical items. So he definitely, I think, in his mind, made a fair killing today.
And I've some future rogue down the line is going to have to okay, this is the name of the other person with the other key to this magical lock, where behind of which is great treasure. Has to go to who the fuck is the Marquis Hyacinth, and has to go to a 50-year-old curmudgeon Hyacinth.
And with that, friends, I think we're gonna go ahead and end our session. We did some shopping. We fought some trolls. Mm-hmm. Oh, what do you got, Gail? Before we go.
He asked for an autograph. I signed one of the troops' posters and gives it to him.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Fantastic. I love it.
And he asks for Calder's autograph on it as well, even though Calder isn't part of the troop. In fact, the poster that you see isn't the poster that he pulls out. It looked for a second like the poster of your troop, but it's not. The poster that you see, in fact, is a little bit different. It has a stage and what look like metal supports.
Oh.
And you and Calder and Meepo and Clarion playing instruments.
Live from the Sunless Citadel.
Clarion holding the microphone to his mouth. And it says across the top, live from the Sunless Citadel.
Sunless Citadel, yes.
And he gets your autographs on it. Absolutely.
Sure, I'll sign that.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I will be starting up my streams again, my art streams. I'm going to finish that thing.
I really am looking forward to that. All right, we're moving over to the out of character area.
Woo!